Welcome to the Nathan Nephew Show. I'm your host, Nathan Nephew, here for, 30 minutes or so. Lots to talk about. We had a pretty big weekend. Super Bowl. I don't know. I'm still waiting for the Broncos to show up to the game, though. I'm not sure if they've made it yet. I saw their bus. Well, I didn't actually see it. I saw it on TV, but their bus was in the area. I just don't know if they made it to the game. I mean, it wasn't much of a game. It was almost to the point, and I actually saw this suggested somewhere on the internet, but and I'm sure you can find lots of suggestions on the internet, but it was almost to the point where you could get this little thought in your head of, did the Broncos throw the game on purpose? And it wasn't just Peyton Manning. He made some bad plays, but even when he made some good plays, you see a completed pass and then the receiver just drops the ball. It was bad. And I think what happened is the Seahawks got that safety first play of the game. and I think that threw the Broncos off their game. And, it's hard to come back from, especially against a team like the Seahawks, number one defense in the league, and they were fired up. They want to win, and right away they got this huge boost. They have the best fans, or some of the best fans, and at least they claim that. And that's just hard to come back from, I'd imagine. So, I don't know. Tough break. We'll see if Peyton Manning comes back next year or not. If he had won, I have a feeling he wouldn't have, but now I'm not so sure. He may give it one more go. But aside from the game, some of the commercials made a splash, namely Coca Cola. You've no doubt heard about that. America the Beautiful in a bunch of languages. I'm going to play it just in case you haven't heard it, and we'll discuss that a bit. Also want to get into the Constitution one more time. I'm going to start off with that, I think, right away. And then talk about New Zealand. Don't mention New Zealand very much, but a school there participated in a study. A couple universities in New Zealand were doing a study, and they made some changes to their playground rules, and it turns out that it actually had a positive impact. I want to talk about that. Talk about the drastic difference between what they're doing in a couple schools in New Zealand and almost every school in the United States. Anyway, we are on, I believe, let's see, it is the Sixth Amendment, and the Sixth Amendment says, in all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial, by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. So, speedy and public trial, we hear about this. This means that in all criminal, without exception, all criminal prosecutions, you should not be made to sit in jail for 6 months or a year before you have a trial. Speedy means reasonable amount of time. Courts should have the resources to do this. And if they don't, this is important, and this is where you and I might come in someday. If you're sitting on a jury, you most definitely should take that into consideration. If this person sat in jail for a year before trial, that's in direct violation of the Constitution, the Sixth Amendment to the Constitution of the United States. An impartial jury of the state, we know what that means. You pick some random people, you get the letter in the mail, jury duty in this district where this crime was committed. Be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation. You need to be told what you're charged with. Confronted with the witnesses against him, you get to face your accuser. There's not really this whole, well, an anonymous source told us that this is what you did. No, you get to face the witnesses that you have, that witnesses that claim you did this crime or are bearing witness against you, and have a compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in your favor, so people can be forced to be a witness in your favor, and have the assistance of counsel for his defense. So you get a lawyer to help you out If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed to you. All right, so that is the Sixth Amendment. We'll do the Seventh Amendment. I think what I'm going to do, get through the Bill of Rights, and then quite possibly split the rest of the Constitution out and maybe even redo the first part into a little series or something, so I don't have to take up some time on this show, but it'll still be available on my website, nathannephew.com. You'll be able to find it, and it'll be good. And then you can separate it out if you just want to kind of listen to a part of the Constitution, listen to some moron read it on the internet, or whatever you want to do. I might put that there. I don't know if it'll work or not. Let me know what you think. Send me an email, talk@nathannephew.com, or head over to nathannephew.com and check out the blog, or send me an email from the website. All right, I want to jump right in to this Coca-Cola ad, and I'm going to play it, and hopefully I don't offend too many people here, but this is what Coca-Cola played, one of their ads during the Super Bowl yesterday.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, por tus olas de granos d'amber, yo piscina zakuti, sa ibabaw ng mga prutas. America, America, God shed His grace on thee. Orba hijre ke saath aaj tera cha, tu la mer priya. Berat tu verhjertig og tak, from sea to shining sea.
All right, so that was the ad, one of the ads that Coca-Cola had during the Super Bowl, and I'm going to be very honest. My first reaction when this came on the television was, what the hell is this? That was my first reaction. Like, this doesn't seem right. Right? This is America. We speak English, even though I know for sure we do not have a national language, so you don't have to call me up and be like, oh, we don't have a national language. I know. English is the predominant language spoken in the United States of America. Now, when I started thinking about this, I thought, well, it's not like it's some random song. Okay, there's two sides to this. One, America the Beautiful, very patriotic song. A lot of people feel passionately about that song. And to have it sung in multiple languages is going to offend some people. I think Coca-Cola did a stupid thing with this. Now, everybody is talking about it today, but I still think they angered enough people that it's not going to help them. Anything that they gained from the diversity crowd, they may have lost from other people that are frustrated listening to this. On the other hand, isn't this a nod to how great of a country this is? Isn't this taking all of these people, presumably from cultures, areas other than the United States of America, whether they're legal immigrants or not, we don't know, but they're singing a song about how beautiful America is. Isn't that a compliment? I mean, really, when you think about it. Now, this one's a tough one for me because I think that if you move into this country legally, you should learn the language that's predominantly spoken here, which is English. I think everybody has the right to speak whatever language they want in this country. But if you go to another country, you think they're going to cater to English-speaking people? Not so much. When you go to another country that doesn't speak English at all, they're going to want you to speak the language of that country. But I don't know that this is something to really get up in arms about like people are doing. And first of all, this is not the national anthem, and I've seen that all over the internet. People mad that the national anthem, which is the Star Spangled Banner, was sung in multiple languages. That's not the case. This is not the national anthem. It's a very patriotic song. I get it. It's moving, but it is not the national anthem. Now, the other piece to this, which I think is more important, because it's something that I deal with all the time, is that it's It's possible to love freedom, to think people should be free to do what they want, and still get upset about something like this. Freedom, in fact, lends itself to being upset by something like this. When you are a free people, you can see this Coca-Cola ad and say, that's garbage, Coca-Cola. What are you doing? That's so offensive. I hate it. I'm not going to buy Coca-Cola. And that's okay. And then other people can say, what do you mean? I love what Coca-Cola did. I'm going to go buy some Coca-Cola now. I'm going to take this Pepsi back to the store and buying Coca-Cola. That's freedom. And I saw an article today. It was some libertarian website. I don't remember what it was, but it was almost hypocritical because the article was criticizing conservatives for criticizing this Coca-Cola ad, saying that, well, they claim they love freedom, but they're criticizing this ad. Well, okay, so the libertarian website, my point is, you claim you love freedom, which I believe you do, and you're criticizing something that conservatives said, freedom. Now, by criticizing them, you're actually exercising your freedom to criticize people. That's part of it. Nobody has the right not to be offended, and you can offend people all you want. You can be offended by anything you want. You can be intolerant if you want. That doesn't mean people are going to like it and that you're going to have an easy time doing it. But I think conservatives getting upset about this, that's part of freedom. If we weren't free, they wouldn't be able to do that. Or if we weren't free, Coca-Cola wouldn't have been allowed to play that ad during the Super Bowl. So I think every side of this issue has some things to think about. Is it that big of a deal? I don't think it really is that big of a deal. Like I said, my first reaction was not positive, that's for sure. But then I started thinking, well, it still is a song about America. I assume. I couldn't speak any of those languages, so I'm assuming that they were still singing America the Beautiful, just in a different language. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Talk at NathanNephew.com. I am going to take a quick break. I'll be back. Head over to myparentsopencarry.com. Check out my book. Also, don't forget to check out @oddshow.com. I will be right back.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom66.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom66.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom66.com. Go to freedom66.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom66.com.
Red State Talk Radio is All American Talk Radio.
Hey everyone, have you heard about the No hair removal device that's sweeping the globe? If you want to go weeks without shaving and get smooth, professional quality results, here's our favorite host Cheryl for No hair removal.
Thanks. Hey gals, I love talking about my No. It's this cute little hair removal system that you can take with you and use almost anywhere at home or on the road. No more expensive in-office treatments, painful waxing, and no more wasting your valuable time. Got unwanted facial hair? No has patented thermocon technology that works on all hair and skin colors, so it's perfect for using on all body parts. And now you can take advantage of this incredible risk-free trial. Get the No, the facial kit, a travel case, and a $100 discount shopping card, and you don't risk a penny to try it. Try the incredible No hair completely risk-free. Call 1-800-953-5470. That's 800-953-5470. 800-953-5470.
The Nathan Nephew Show. Somewhat unique.
Somewhat unique?
Yes, somewhat unique.
All right, I'm back. I'm Nathan Nephew, your host here. So, the Coca-Cola ad and the terrible game were not the only things out of the Super Bowl. Again this year, I think last year O'Reilly did this. I don't know if he does it every year. I don't really pay attention to Bill O'Reilly, but he interviewed President Obama, and it was fairly predictable. Now, let me be upfront. I think Bill O'Reilly did as good of a job as anybody could do. It was frustrating because you're watching it saying, why don't you just say, damn it, listen, Obama, I know you're lying. We know this isn't true. But you really can't. I mean, you really can't do that because you're in the White House. He's the president. And I think he only had 10 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever it was. There's so many constraints on this sort of thing. It's not like Obama talking to ABC where Diane Sawyer can ask him anything she wants. But the thing that was interesting, what Obama kept doing was blaming Bill O'Reilly and Fox News for every completely truthful piece of information that comes out against Obama. Benghazi, nothing wrong with Benghazi. The IRS scandal, he said not only was there not much corruption, there was not a smidgen of corruption in the IRS. Are you kidding me? And he's saying we had multiple hearings. Okay. I think it's been shown pretty clearly that there was some corruption, that there was action taken against conservative groups by the IRS. You're telling me that's not corruption. But no, he's blaming it's Fox News because people like you and your television show, your television channel show thing, you are blaming me for things. And it's not right. It's not right. I mean, and with a smile on his face the entire time, but when you're talking about a man that's not afraid to lie about everything, you really don't have anywhere to go but down when you do this sort of an interview. It was a good interview. I think Bill O'Reilly did as well as he could, but it wasn't satisfying. I mean, it was frustrating. That's for sure. This other thing I found today, New Zealand, a couple schools in New Zealand, they joined this study. It was by a couple universities in the area, AUT, and one other one, the name escapes me, but this is a Swanson primary school, I think. What they decided to do, because they had, like most schools, all of these safety rules on the playground. No climbing, no running, well, not no running necessarily, but no contact sports. You can't play with sticks, stay out of the mud. And like every school, they have problems with bullying. They have problems with vandalism, kids destroying things in the school, kids not paying attention in the classroom. What they decided to do, and this study was really just to find a way to create more active play for health reasons or whatever it was. But what this school did, they basically just ripped up the playground rule book. They basically said all of these no contact rules that have been implemented recently since we started thinking that children need to be wrapped in bubble wrap. And what do they say? Cotton wooling of children. This is New Zealand, so children are being babied. We do everything we can so they don't get a single scrape on their wrist. Maybe we can get rid of some of these rules and let the children, we'll let them be children. And that's what they did. They got rid of these rules. I mean, they came up with some rules, but it was a collaborative effort between the children and the adults. They came up with rules that worked for everybody, allowed them to still have fun. The children played games like Bull Rush, which apparently is like rugby without a ball. I don't know. I've never played that, but basically they were just tackling each other. Full contact tackling these kids, and they were having fun and nobody got hurt. I mean, kids are always going to get hurt. You're not going to stop it. The kids were playing in mud. Kids were climbing trees. Kids were playing with tires. Kids were even running around with big sticks, pretending they were guns, shooting at each other. Now, if you did that today in a school in the United States, you would be expelled. Because zero tolerance. But these schools in New Zealand, they allowed that to happen. They let the kids play. Bullying was decreased. Vandalism decreased. Children paid attention more in the classroom. There was a higher concentration by the students in the classroom. Probably because they were tired. They didn't have all this pent-up energy. They got to use their imaginations because they didn't have all sorts of expensive toys and all these weird moving interactive things on the playground. They had a pit of things like sticks and tires. They had mud to play in. They got to tackle each other. They got to be kids. They were allowed to just play. And kids didn't get hurt. They brought their skateboards. They had a ramp. They had scooters, two-wheeled scooters, and they were jumping over a ramp. And there's a video. Head over to NathanNephew.com. You can see on my blog. The kid comes over the ramp during the report and falls on the cement. Like, oh, okay. Kids do that all the time. Got up. He was fine. Kept going. Of course, children get hurt, but they're going to get hurt either way. Serious injuries happen once in a while, but you deal with them. And the big part about this is these children learn to take risks. They learn what acceptable risk is, and they just learn how to be smart about these sorts of things. You jump off something and it was a little too high and it hurt a little bit, you don't do it again. Now, when you shelter these children, they made a great example in New Zealand about you shelter them or you cotton wool them. You don't let them experience any sort of risk taking. They never lose. They never get hurt when they're younger. They grow up, you put them in a car. Well, now they're invincible because they've never been hurt. They don't know what it's like. So they're going to take some risks because now they finally have perceived freedom. And at that point, you're not just talking about a scraped elbow or a broken arm even. You're talking about killing people in a car wreck. I think this is great. This is something that not only New Zealand, other schools in New Zealand, I think there might be a couple that have signed on now, could take advantage of. Schools here in the United States of America could take advantage of this. I think this is even better than what I have proposed in the past, which was bullies in the past, back before zero tolerance and everything. Yeah, there were bullies, but they got dealt with eventually. Right? Because if you're getting picked on, eventually you're going to swat the guy in the face and something's going to happen. Today, you do that and you're going to get in trouble. Even though you were being bullied for the last year, you're going to get kicked out of school. And so kids get bullied and bullied and bullied, and there's really no recourse. We see time and time again that schools do nothing about it. They know what's going on, or they pretend like they don't know what's going on. They do nothing about it. In this case, you're actually getting to the children before it even comes to that, because bored children are the troublemakers. If you keep them occupied, let them use their imagination, let them play however they want, within reason. Like I said, when they played this bull rush, this rugby, this tackle the kid game, one of the rules they came up with was if you're playing that game, you have to wear a mouthpiece. So you might jam a finger or hurt your arm or something, but your mouth is going to be relatively safe. So you don't have to worry about that. If you knock into someone's head, you're not going to lose a tooth necessarily. You can play in mud, get a little muddy. Not a big deal. I am running out of time, though. I'm going to thank you for listening. Remember, head over to myparentsopencarry.com. Check out my book. I wrote it with Brian. He's my co-host on At Odds, atoddshow.com. You can check that show out Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. It's live. And stay tuned in right here to Red State Talk Radio. Next week, like I said, I'm going to go through the rest of the Bill of Rights. So, Seventh Amendment we'll be doing, and then 8 through 10. But then I think the rest of the Constitution, then I'll go back and redo the first Constitution. The first part will be a separate series or something, a separate show for each section or whatever. Kind of discuss it, maybe even more in depth, probably, and try to sound a little more intelligent about it. But anyway, that's the plan. We'll see how it goes. Let me know what you think. And then after I get some time, it's not going to happen right away, but once I get the rest of the Constitution posted, hopefully I can get some feedback on that. I'll release them. I'll let you know. And hopefully we can start to make a difference, share it with your friends, let people see and hear what actually is in the Constitution, so they're not just hearing what's fed to them either by the president, his administration, or the media, and just assume that that's accurate. But I am out of time, so I want to thank you for listening, and see you next week.